I am on the road right now, but hopefully this works. The signal doesn't leave me. I'm going to be in Clubhouse, so if you have the app, feel free to join me over there. Millennials. We aren't as healthy as our grandparents. I'm going to repeat that. Millennials. We aren't as healthy as our grandparents were at our age, and we are the loneliest generation to have ever lived. All right, that is done by a study. That is a fact. So let's get into it. My name is Crystal. I am a functional nutrition coach, host of the Functional Faith Show, owner and founder of Functional Faith Wholeness Coaching, where we empower fed up millennials in St. Louis and beyond to feed their mind, body, and spirit. Sorry. Woo, this is gonna be fun today. To feed their mind, body, and spirit so they have simplicity, confidence, and freedom in their healthcare and soul care. So the topic for this weekend is that we're talking about is the epidemic of loneliness. And today I'll be sharing on community for the body, tomorrow community for the mind, and Sunday community for the soul. So the most significant determinant of disease is loneliness. And a 2018 survey completed by Cigna showed that half of Americans feel alone, isolated, or left out at least some of the time, with millennials and Gen Z being the loneliest generation ever. Douglas Nemekek, MD, the chief medical officer of Cigna, is quoted as saying that being lonely has the same impact on mortality as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, making it even more dangerous than obesity. So what is causing this, right? Well, there's a lot, and people have a lot of different theories. But a big part of it is, the Industrial Revolution and then the information age, right? So first we stopped working on our family farms and whatnot, and we started working in factories and commuting to work and things of that nature. And then we got the invention of automobiles, right? And so then people started moving to the suburbs and moving from the city. So it was no longer where everything you needed was provided by your family, your community. You could just walk down the street and go to the market. Where everyone was living. The community has led to a very myopic view of the world, in which we're very dependent upon these bigger entities to care for us. But why? Why is loneliness affecting our bodies so much? Why is it that not being able to rely on our parents and grandparents and our neighbors as much as we once could, why does that impact us on a biological level? Well, according to a study from AARP, Public Policy Institute, a Stanford University Center on the demographic of economics and health and aging, people who were lonely were more likely to have extended hospital stays, more expensive treatments, and need the support of skilled nursing facilities in lieu of support systems and aid at home. The participants in the study who were socially isolated had a 50% higher risk of death. 35.3% of isolated individuals died within 6 years of the initial interview, whereas 24% of those who were connected and 22.3% of those who were well connected. Overall, the study found that socially isolated individuals had a 31% higher risk of death than those who were not socially isolated. Contrast that with what we know as blue zones, right? Blue zones are areas where people live to be, what's it called, like a centennial, where you live to be 100 years old on average. Those are places like Sardinia, Okinawa, Nicoya, the peninsula in Costa Rica, and the Seventh-day Adventist community in Loma Linda, California. So in these places, people eat well. They move their bodies more often. They engage in more physical activities. They lead lives that have lower stress. But the biggest component is that they live in community, right? They live in community with one another. New science in the last few years takes us from understanding only about biology to understanding the microbiome. That means that we are mostly made up of bacteria. We also have a virome, where a lot of our bodies is made up of viruses as well, that we need in our bodies, these bacteria and these viruses. Systems biology, understanding that we are not just rather that with different components, but rather we are an ecosystem for these bacteria and viruses, and our body, our organs aren't isolated from one another. The systems in our bodies aren't isolated from one another, but they work in tandem. They cooperate with one another and with all the other organisms that live within us. And epigenetics. So much of what we are taught about health is taught in the framework or from the mindset of genetics, right? You have a gene, and if you have that gene and you get that disease, then you need this pill. But that's really very antiquated science, and it is well known in the medical community that science is like 17 years old before it really gets into the mainstream with your average family doctor, right? And so, but when we look at these different things that are scientifically proven, it really tells us why community is so important for health, for the body, mind, and spirit. And what we're talking about today is specifically why community is so important for the body. Well, epigenetics means that, yeah, we have these genes that we are inherit, but they're inconsequential if they don't get turned on. Genes can be turned on and off, right? And there's like a spectrum. It's not even as simple as just flipping on and flipping off spectrum, and it's all determined by lifestyle. So if our lifestyle is one that is lived within community, a community that is supportive of us, then it tells our body, it tells our system that we are safe, and we don't produce as many stress hormones, and there's less inflammation that occurs because our bodies feel safe, because we're in a community that is supportive and that is healthy, that can hold us accountable, that checks in on us to make sure that we're okay, and cares for us and sends us this message of love and safety. So how do we take this information, and how can this be applied to better our physical health? Well, the answer is in groups, okay? Because when we do it in a group, then we're addressing the biopsychosocial dynamic to our health, the biology, the psychology, and the sociology that combines to give us vibrant health in our bodies, minds, and spirits, and souls. So a great example of this is a program called Centering Pregnancy. They did a number of studies, peer-reviewed, where they proved that by having prenatal care in groups, by having these support groups for moms, that they could better health outcomes across the board, in different demographics even. So I'm not going to go deep into that because I'll totally nerd out, but there's so much there. They have proven that they can improve health outcomes for having groups, teaching and educating and coaching in groups. So the group visit is unique in its ability to treat each of these three aspects, the biological, social, and psychological, simultaneously with a synergistic effect, right? So it's not just that it can address all three of those things that impact your health so much, but it's that it like improves it. It makes it that much more powerful. Another example of this is with the Cleveland Clinic. Some of you might be aware that the Cleveland Clinic has the Center for Functional Medicine that's run by Dr. Mark Hyman. That means it's a center in the Cleveland Clinic, which of course is very well renowned and esteemed, where they focus on root cause resolution in health and medicine, right? Not just disease care, but getting to the root of what creates health in us. They created something called called Functioning for Life. It's a curriculum that they deliver in a group format. And when they delivered this group, they had such a long wait list. I mean, it's a Cleveland Clinic, for goodness sake, right? And it's a functional medicine center. So they were having incredible outcomes, and they had this super long wait list. I think it was like over a year long. And they were trying to resolve this issue. So they started seeing people in groups and delivering this curriculum for people where they can get nutrition education and learn about weight loss, hypertension, diabetes, but in a group setting. And what they found was, once again, they got these incredible results. And that by the end of the 10-week program, half of the people that had come there wanting to see a doctor no longer needed to see a doctor. Their issues had resolved through education about nutrition, diet, and lifestyle, and how these things are the determinant of our health. But not only that, they did it in the group setting, which also contributes so significantly, like I said earlier, even more than smoking, even more than weight loss. Community is a great determinant of health, right? So when we combine that with learning and education about epigenetics, about how our lifestyle, what we eat, what we drink, how we breathe, how we move, who we associate with, how those things impact health, it's just astronomical. They're just incredible benefits. So now, what can you do with this? Where you already have community, whether it's with your family or with your church or a social like activist group, you can build in a layer of healthy living within that pre-existing group. So maybe bring healthier snacks. I know that I'm not the only one who's gone to church, and every Sunday morning it was somebody's job to bring the donuts, right? Like it was someone's job to bring like the treats. Well, let's treat our bodies as they are, how's spirit, right? So let's bring food and nourish our body, mind, and spirit to those gatherings. That's an easy way to build in a healthy dynamic to a pre-existing group. So if you have a group, you can meet, rather than meeting and coming and sitting down in someone's home, you can take a walk together while you're discussing the book in your book club. Another way something else you can do, maybe if the weather isn't permitting, of walking together, you can simply ask each other, what are your health goals for this week? I want to move my body 5 minutes every day. I want to drink more water this week. And then you can hold each other accountable to those health goals within that group setting, and then go on and talk about how you're going to clean up the park, right? But also, if you are a millennial like me, or if you are Gen Z and you're one of the people that are a part of that demographic, the studies have shown is the loneliest generation to have ever lived, and you don't have a community where you can build in these healthy lifestyles, I want to invite you into ours. I have a community. We have a community. Me and my clients are building a community together, where we are going to be learning about functional nutrition together, learning about how to support our bodies, how to listen to our bodies, listen to our minds, listen to our spirits, and nourish all three together. So I want to invite you into that. You can just DM me for more information. I'd love to share with you. There's also a one-on-one aspect to it. It's very personalized and individualized, but you also get the benefits of the synergistic impact of a group. So we can't keep waiting for the country, for the marketplace, or even our church to swoop in and save us. We have to step up and save ourselves. I'm so passionate about this. I am so passionate about the concept of democratization, right? Of not waiting for some bigger entity from the top down to come in and be our hero, but rather for there to be a grassroots movement in healthcare and in soul care, where we are caring for each other, healing ourselves, healing one another, and ministering to each other, right? When our bodies are designed to heal, and when we come together as a unified body, that transformation is just amplified, and the journey is that much better. So we are our heroes. We are waiting for, and that's what I had to share today. So if you have the Clubhouse app, I will be over there. If you don't, then you can leave a comment on the video online. All right. Go in peace and presence, and I'm going to open the floor on Clubhouse. If anyone